What is the biggest oh shit moment in your life? Number 1. I shot myself in the shoulder when I was 9 years old by taking a .22 round, putting it in a vise, and cranking the shite out of it. It ricocheted off a pipe in the ceiling and landed in my left shoulder. My first thought was I hope I didn't wake mom up. Then why does my shoulder hurt? Then I passed out. Number 2. I was bicycling along an isolated rural road in Laos when two men with AK-47s in hand walked into the road, yelled, and stopped us. Turned out they weren't used to seeing foreigners and just wanted to see if we knew where we were going. But for a second there, damn. Number 3. Putting a story here to lighten the mood. So here goes. I was in 7th grade working on my first project of the year, and it had to do with photography. My parents were helping me out and told me to go to blacks.ca, a website for a photography company. However, I typed in blacks.com, which happens to be really freaking different from blacks.ca. I ended up sitting there mortified just staring at black butts, D's and vaginas just plastered over the entire freaking screen. Had to have the talk immediately after, and it ended up being a pretty bad day. Don't mix up CA and com. Number 4. I was a noob on a motorbike that was way too powerful for me. I was trying to turn onto a notoriously busy 2-lane road in peak hour traffic. Was trying to be patient, but a row of cars was giving me grief. One of them started inching to go around me. Stupidly I let this get to me and tried to take a gap in the near lane, released the clutch, blipped the throttle, went wide, ended up on the middle line with the sound of a blaring hooter. Suddenly this massive Land Rover rushes past me. I feel the body of the car up against my arm. The car scrapes against my side mirror. Needless to say I was happy to be upright, and I felt like an idiot, and I vowed to never feel rushed by anyone ever again. I was a noob on a motorcycle, panicked, almost died. Number 5. I was a kid and I jumped up on the counter to steal some cookies out of the cookie jar. It was right before dinner. I had cookies in both hands, and when I went to slide down off the counter the belt loop of my pants got caught on the silverware drawer handle and there I was, suspended about 8 inches off the ground, and damned if I was putting my cookies down to try and free myself. I started stuffing my mouth full of cookies as fast as I could, but I wasn't fast enough. At that moment my dad walked into the kitchen and I froze. My oh shite moment. He said my face was covered in crumbs, but the surprise and guilt shone right through them. As he came toward me, I shoved the last cookie in my mouth and exclaimed, "See, my brother made me do it." He was laughing too hard to punish me, but I didn't finish my dinner that night. Number 6. Back in high school I went to a friend's house and he convinced me to down a bottle of cough syrup and take a shot of tequila. I was driving back home. I know I was a reckless teenager, and I decided to take a hilly route with not that many cops. Keep in mind I was nearly falling asleep at the wheel because of the lean. The way the road is structured, it's a one-way road with a berm that has the other way on top on the left and a very steep downhill on the right. So I was gunning it down this road on a downhill left curve against stupid teenager. Then I felt it, the feeling of a car losing traction. My butt cheeks clenched harder than ever. I somehow managed to slam into the berm instead of driving off the hill. Worst part is it was my mum's car. It wasn't totaled, but she wasn't happy. God, I was a little shite back then. Number 7. Took my mom's car out late at night. Was in reverse and threw it into drive too quickly. Car shuts off automatically. I try turning it back on but nothing happens. I thought, welp, I'm dead. Turns out, I just needed to take the keys out and put them back in. Number 8. My dad was washing the 88 feet red Chevy Suburban we had. The driveway was slightly sloped. My friend and I decided to play taxi whilst my father washed the roof of it on a ladder. I stupidly pulled the column shifter and it popped out of park and into neutral. It swiftly left my dad holding a wet sponge over thin air and the truck heading straight for our neighbor's house across the street. As he was yelling at me to hit the brake pedal, he and the neighbor ran to the front of the truck, just as it was hitting the curb, and with my 7-year-old strength pushing the brake pedal it stopped at the curb. I immediately proceeded to bust open the door and take off for the house before my dad could scold me. Number 9. Not a tattoo artist myself, but a friend of mine got drunk at a party a couple of years back. There was this dude with a tattoo machine at the party and my drunk friend either got talked into getting his first tattoo or just thought it was a brilliant drunk idea, I'm not sure. Anyways, even in his drunk state of mind he figured he should at least get a tattoo that he can cover up. So they decided that Face the Facts would be a rad tattoo on the side of his foot. However, when they were done the tattoo said Face the Face. It's still a running joke within our group and some friends of ours even named their band Face the Face. Number 10. I skipped school once in high school by hiding in my closet so my parents would think I had left already. They leave for work right after I leave for school. As soon as they are gone, I come out and start watch Netflix. Fast forward a couple hours, I hear the garage open when nobody is supposed to be home. I make a dash for my closet again. At this point I know I'm screwed. Mom comes in and is calling for me, saying the school called and said I never showed up. I was so screwed. She knew I was at home somewhere. So eventually she checks my closet and found me huddled up with my backpack. She still roasts me about it 5 years later. Number 11. As a child about 11 years old, climbing a big old tree at the secret lake. Must have been 20-30 feet up when the branch I was standing on just went like dust away from me. Falling headfirst was one of those life flashing past moments, and being only 11, it didn't take long. Was saved by ending upside down tangled in a barbed wire fence. Never did tell my mom the truth about how my new jeans and leg got ripped to pieces. Number 12. Set 5 alarms on my phone so I can wake up, get ready, and get to the airport on time for my flight to see my parents on the other side of the world. I wake up to a phone call from my parents asking if I got to the airport okay, and I look at the time and well, I somehow slept through all 5 alarms. Number 13. About 8 years ago my friend Drew flicked off this truck full of bros that was tailgating us. They followed us to a grocery store parking lot and got out to confront us. I peeled out, started speeding down the road, and next thing I know I'm in a full-on car chase. My dumbass turns off the main road because I was hoping I could lose them. Nope. They cornered us in a cul-de-sac. All the bros got out of the truck and 2 of them had bats. I was pretty sure I was about to die. Dude came to the window and started screaming at me about how much of a pussy I was and how easily he could kill me. He made me tell him I was his bitch, and I assured him that I was his bitch. He made me say it about 8 times. Then he bucked at me, turned around, got in his truck and left. Scariest experience I've ever had in my life. To this day, I won't even honk at someone, no matter what they do on the road. Number 14. I was snowboarding, and they had the snow machines on in one spot, so there were a couple huge mounds of snow, not intended to be jumps, but they were sloped and ramped, and I hit one way too fast. The feeling of unintentionally being 20 to 30 feet in the air and looking down at flatland is scary as shit. Number 15. The worst oh god, now I'm screwed moment I've had happened in first year of uni while staying in halls of residence. After coming back from a night out I noticed that a friend of mine left her kitchen window open, first floor flat. I, for some reason, could have been the alcohol, decided to enter her flat through the open window by climbing onto a ledge below it. I then proceeded to empty her fridge freezer of all its contents into a beanbag. Upon leaving through the window, I missed the ledge and fell to the ground. However, this did not faze me, and I went back to my flat with the bin bag full of stuff and passed out. Woke up the next moment to the sight of policemen and forensics outside her window. FML. I owned up to it and had to pay for the repair to the window latch which I apparently had broken upon exit. The bill was laid out as follows: £40, ironmongery £35, fine, misuse of window plus VAT. Needless to say, it was an expensive night out. Don't forget, like, share, subscribe for daily Reddit madness.